Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. JJ Watt gets honest about TJ Watt's ankle injury prior to Steelers-Ravens. JJ Watt provided a realistic expectation for his brother, Pittsburgh Steelers star pass rusher TJ Watt, against the Baltimore Ravens. Given the team's accelerated timeline in Week 16, the Pittsburgh Steelers are just 3 days away from their integral rematch with the Baltimore Ravens, and the status of star pass rusher TJ Watt should prove paramount after he left Week 15 with a low ankle sprain. Watt's older brother, 3-time AP Defensive Player of the Year JJ Watt, joined the Pat McAfee show to give his assessment of the ankle injury on December 18, and the retired superstar spoke candidly. TJ has a low ankle sprain, but he is walking around better and feeling better than you would initially think. I know he's gonna wanna be out there and he's gonna do everything that it takes to be out there. Yeah, we got a low ankle sprain there, X-rays negative, JJ Watt confirmed, continuing, it's one of those things, where, you just roll it really hard and it's very painful, very tough to utilize because you're a pass rusher on the edge, turning the corner on that ankle specifically, putting an insane amount of pressure into it. So, when you add that with the fact that they're playing the 3 games in 11 days or whatever it is, very difficult, JJ Watt went on, but he is walking around better and feeling better than I think you would initially think. The older of the two brothers concluded that he knows TJ Watt is a competitor who will do whatever it takes to get back onto the field, but did reiterate that there's no question that the 3 games in 11 days is, A, nuts, and B, very difficult for a situation like this. We'll have to wait a few more hours to see who practices on December 18, but the first day of Week 16 practices on December 17 yielded several DNPs, or players that did not practice due to rest or injury. According to the Steelers' official injury report, TJ Watt, ankle, was among them. The key edge rusher was one of 7 DNPs on Tuesday, along with defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi, groin, logging a limited practice. The other non-participants were backup quarterback Justin Fields, abdominal, star wide receiver George Pickens, hamstring, safety Deshaun Elliott, hamstring, cornerback Dante Jackson, back, and veteran rest days for linebacker Patrick Queen and defensive lineman Cameron Hayward. First call, JJ Watt gives health update on TJ. TNF game could have big impact on Steelers. Thursday's First Call has a health update on Pittsburgh Steelers Pro Bowler TJ Watt from a family source. We get word on the status of a few banged-up Baltimore Ravens too. We also get the rundown on how the Thursday night football game impacts whoever wins the AFC North. And we preview the Penguins' Thursday night skate in Tennessee. What is the latest? Steelers outside linebacker TJ Watt is trying to recover from an ankle sprain he suffered in Philadelphia in time to play against the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday. Future NFL Hall of Famer JJ Watt provided a health update on his All-Pro younger brother during Wednesday's Pat McAfee show. We've got a low ankle sprain there. X-rays are negative, Watt said during his weekly ESPN appearance. It's one of those things that you just roll it really hard, and it's very painful, very tough to utilize because you're a pass rusher on the edge, turning the corner on that ankle, specifically putting an insane amount of pressure into it. Watt said the brutal schedule his brother and his Pittsburgh teammates are facing won't help matters. When you add that with the fact that they're playing 3 games in 11 days, it is very difficult. But he is walking around better and feeling better than you would initially think, Watt continued. I know he is going to do everything it takes to be out there. So we're going to see what happens. TJ Watt was a limited participant in practice Wednesday. After missing 7 games in 2022, Watt played the entire regular season last year before suffering a knee injury and missing the playoff game in Buffalo. He has yet to miss a game in 2024. With 11.5 sacks in 14 games, Watt is tied for 3rd in the NFL. Concerns of their own. The Ravens aren't exactly injury-free. Wide receiver Rashad Bateman, foot, and OLB Odefowa, ankle, were added to the team's injury report Wednesday after being limited in practice. Neither of them had an injury designation Monday. Two starters appeared as limited participants for a second straight day, safety Darius Washington and right guard Daniel Fulale. Hill accounted for 44 yards from scrimmage in Game 1 against the Steelers last month. Bates chipped in with 30 yards on 2 catches as the Steelers won 18-16. The Thursday night football game will have a significant impact on the AFC playoff picture. Specifically, it could go a long way toward dictating who plays the Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. Mike Florio likes Steelers as landing spot for Kirk Cousins. With Kirk Cousins being benched by the Atlanta Falcons in favor of rookie Michael Penix Jr., the NFL media world is already trying to figure out Cousins' future landing spot. With the Pittsburgh Steelers set to have 0 quarterbacks under contract beyond the 2024 season, Cousins will be a natural link to Pittsburgh. Mike Florio thinks the Steelers are one of the top landing spots for Cousins. Think about this. They've got Justin Fields under contract the rest of the year. They've got Russell Wilson under contract the rest of the year. They got both of them for nothing. Like their entire quarterback depth chart was making less money than Mason Rudolph, Florio said via Pro Football Talk on YouTube. If you can do this again, and you can bring in Kirk Cousins to run your offense and play Steelers football with Arthur Smith, there's just something there that continues this idea of, you know what? We'd like to get a long-term franchise quarterback. We haven't found one yet. So let's just get a guy who, dollar for dollar, is a hell of a value. If there is a strong case to be made for a possible Cousins-Steelers union in free agency, this is assuming the Falcons cut ties with him after this season, it would be that the Steelers just went through the same song and dance during the last free agency period. Russell Wilson was available for $1.21 million on the veteran minimum contract because the Denver Broncos still owed him nearly $40 million. Cousins' base salary is $27,500,000 fully guaranteed next year, so he could probably be acquired for the veteran minimum next year as well. If the Steelers want to run it back with cheap quarterback options so they can further bolster the rest of their roster, then Cousins would be the best option. At least short of drafting a rookie, which they won't be in position to do with a playoff spot already locked up this year. Cousins is the same age as Russell Wilson, but he has played significantly worse this year after moving from the Minnesota Vikings to the Falcons on a massive 4-year contract. Most thought the results would be flipped with a great season for Cousins, while Wilson proved that he is washed up as a starter. It has been quite the opposite. Wilson is having one of the better seasons of his eventual Hall of Fame career, while Cousins is having easily the worst of his. In 14 games, Cousins has thrown for 3,508 yards, with 18 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. It started out okay, but he has just 1 touchdown to 9 interceptions over the last 5 games. The Falcons have lost all but 1 game during that span. So why would the Steelers take that risk? Well, they've already proven they can get the most out of quarterbacks viewed to be washed up. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, if he remains with the team, has a track record of turning around the careers of veterans like Wilson and Ryan Tannehill. The cheap quarterback contract would allow the Steelers to sign a big-name wide receiver or cornerback, or both, to help fill in the gaps toward making it a complete roster. I don't think this one is in the cards as much as a case can be made. The Steelers have 2 quarterbacks who might make more sense to re-sign already on the roster. Reports indicate that the Steelers and Wilson want to do business together in free agency, so I don't see a reason why they'd go against that to take a big risk on Cousins. But then again, I was very wrong about the Steelers signing Wilson last March. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Kirk Cousins? Leave your opinion in the comments.